Hi there, this is Zorin, one of the two Linux distros I really like. The other one is Mint Mate. Both are extremely suitable for Windows users like me because they have a very good user interface. You don't have to go to the terminal, which is command prompt all the time, like for example in Fedora. And you find the things that you're used to. Like, for example, you have the taskbar here. Taskbar is very similar to the taskbar in Windows. Over here, this is my recording program, which is the running program. And then you have the network, you have the sound, you have an email program that you can set up, which I haven't set up because I use AOL. The timing calendar, in case you have some guest accounts, and here you have various functions: shut down, log out, and some setting functions up here. Anyhow, over here you have the programs that I pinned to the taskbar. These strange icons are there because I use a high contrast skin, and that makes these strange icons. You'll see in the start menu in a second, which is quite normal. This is my bin, my recycle bin. Isn't it cute? a little tissue sticking out. Let's just see what's in it. There's a picture in it, and you can empty it. And it says you want to empty it. Of course you want to empty it. Okay, so much for that. Up here there is an icon for computer and for the home folder, but I have an icon for the home folder down here too. The home folder looks like this. By the way, you can, if you hold Control and roll the pinwheel, the wheel on the mouse, you can easily change the size of the icons, which may make it a little easier to read. By the way, I use a relatively large font here for the writing because I don't see very well. Okay, so from here you can open the different folders, like for example pictures. I have a mass of pictures. Well, here's some more. And as I said, if you want to have a closer look at them, you just make it bigger, or you make it like this, which is maybe the nice thing. And you can make different desktops from here. For example, you show the picture and then you right click and you can set it as desktop. But I like my desktop that I have right now. It looks like Zorin. Anyhow, okay, so much for the file system, which is a very normal file system. By the way, the back button is on the right side, not on the left side, but that doesn't matter. You can go to the other documents that are on the side here. And by the way, this can also be moved, I believe, yes, that you see a little better what's here. And that's mainly because I have the larger fonts. Videos, I have some test video here, and music, I have some music here. And again, if you want the larger icons, I do this. Okay, so much for that. Let's go to the Start menu. Start menu is a very familiar Start menu. Let's first look at the right pane, Home folder, where we just saw the different subfolders. Well, then you have documents, pictures, music, videos, recent items, computer again, network, well, that connect to, I guess that you need only for a laptop. This happens to be a desktop. Universal access, system settings, and help. Okay. By the way, speaking of desktop, this is not really a desktop. It is actually a virtual machine on a desktop. The virtual system running on a VMware player, and it runs on a Windows 7 home system, and it is installed on an external disk, which happens to be a solid-state disk attached via eSATA. You can install a VMware Player virtual system or virtual partition, if you want so, anywhere on an external drive, if you like. You can attach it via USB 2, via USB 3. You can use an SSD. You can use a spinning disk. However, you should know that, of course, there's a big difference in performance between a 5400 RPM disk on USB 2 to this SSD on a eSATA. But for example, a 7400 disk on a USB 3 works quite well. I've tried that myself. So you have various possibilities to place your virtual system. I like the external disk idea because I can take my external disk to any computer, and I have a few at different locations. And I have my systems right with me on my SSD, so I don't have to reinstall that all the time. Okay, so let's go back to the Start menu. The first system tools, that's probably the most important one. You have administration, and I have reduced this significantly. Out of the box, you have a lot more entries, but I only retain those that I either need or I understand. There were a few that I didn't really know what to do with. Okay, this is a disk manager similar to disk management. Just have a quick look at it. And you always need authentication in Linux. That's why you want a convenient password. And here you have your disk management, if you want so. And it shows very little because this is a virtual disk. This is actually a disk where it's installed. It's only 18 gigabytes. And this here over here, this is the Linux swap disk, which is like the page file. And they have these funny names, SDA1, SDA2, SDA5. You have to get used to that, but that's not too difficult. Okay, next let's go back here to our system tools. We run administration. And then you have the update manager. Of course, you want to look for updates from time to time, but it's also going to tell you there's going to be in the system tray, there's going to be an icon that will alert you. It's a triangle, which will alert you when there are updates. Okay, now let's go back here and go to preferences. On settings, well, this is for certain settings. I don't want to go into that. This is for, you can configure a lot of things in Linux. Just to give you an idea, there's pages and pages of configuration possibilities. Don't want to go into that either. That is would be more than we can cover today. And disk utility and the main menu, that may be interesting. The way I reduced all these entries here was with the main menu. Now this we have to make big because this is rather busy. Okay, and what you do here, and again let's make it a little bigger. For example, applications, which is let me just remind you, which is actually the first window of the Start menu. Those that are checked will appear, like System Tools, Accessories, Office, etc. Those that are not checked will disappear. They will not show. And if you want to move one, for example, let's say sound and video, you want to move above graphics, you highlight it and you move it up. And you have to move it even above those that, okay, sound and video is now above graphics. And so you have sound and video first and then graphics. Okay. And so on. You can move them around, which is nice. By the way, moving down doesn't work. You have to do with a move up. You have to do, and so on. And then if you go into the individual item system tools, see again, I checked only a few, and there's a lot of other things, but for those I really had no need, and so on and so forth. And accessories, the same thing. They have all kinds of facilities that I didn't think I needed, and I certainly don't want to try to explain those to you. Next is in system tools. Where were we? Preferences. Okay, we were in preferences. Main menu we were. Password, that's always good to have. And startup applications. I only have 2 startup applications. Ducky, which is my duck here on the right side. It's just kind of cute. It's called Ducky. I put certain things in. It has a trash can again, computer again, and it has here documents and music. I didn't really do much with it yet. I have to do that a little better. And then VMware User Agent, which are the VMware tools that I installed. VMware tools which allow you, if you run the system side by side, which we are currently not doing, with a host system, which would be Windows 7, which allows you to exchange data back and forth. You can copy paste from the host system to the guest system and vice versa. You can drag and drop things across the system boundaries, etc., etc. I have explained that in another tutorial, so I'm not going to go into that detailing in here. We are still in system tools and system settings. We had that bleach bit that is like CCleaner to delete temporary files that you don't need anymore. Disk usage analyzer, maybe I have a quick look at that. My total disk is 19 gigabytes, and of that I use 41%, corresponding to 7.9 gigabytes, which is the total system and the installed programs. I installed a few programs, not too many. What else do we hear? Log file viewer. Okay, it has a log file in case there's ever any program. Zorin look changer. That's kind of cute. You can change the look. We currently have this look here, but you can make a different look, and then you can take the GNOME look, which is, like the old Ubuntu, where everything works from the top. I don't like that. An XP look I certainly don't like. So we have more or less a modern look here. So then let's go into accessories. Accessories, your calculator, character map, disk utilities, screenshot, terminal. That's probably the most important one. Terminal, that's command prompt. And in Linux, you can do a lot of things in command prompt. You don't have to, especially here in Zorin, or also in MintMate, but you can do a lot of things in command prompt. And sometimes it's easier to do things in command prompt than through the user interface if you know the command. That will grow on you over time. Don't worry, I wouldn't plunge into that. And certainly don't read a manual for Linux command prompts. You're going to go nuts. It's unbelievable, all the stuff they have. Okay. And there's a text editor here. Let's go back. Office. Yeah, that's nice. They have LibreOffice. They have the Writer, which is like Word. They had Impress, which is like PowerPoint. They have Draw, which is like Excel. And they have a LibreOffice. No, Calc is like Excel. Sorry. Draw is a program I haven't used yet. You can draw things, I guess. Calc is like Excel. And let's just have a look how this looks like. This happens to be the Word equivalent, and looks pretty nice. It looks different than Word, and you have to get used to all those icons, of course, so it takes a little bit of research, but it's It's full function, and by the way, to a certain extent compatible with Office. In Windows, you can move files over to Windows Office, and they will be recognized, and you can move files from Windows Office to LibreOffice, and they will be recognized. Sometimes you lose a few functions, but basic things work. Then Internet, Firefox, and Google. Well, I have those pinned anyhow. And to talk on web browsers, which is interesting. Again, you need authentication, of course. And here it gives you an easy way to install browsers. I have installed Firefox and Chrome. I tried to install Opera, there was a problem with it, and I abandoned it. Midori, I tried. It's a nice browser, but I don't really need 3. 2 is enough. So much for the Internet. Sound and video, there's some more. There is some players here, movie player, sound player, video program. This is a program here, Record My Desktop. That's a program we are using to record this video. That's another music player, a sound recorder, and VLC. VLC is always useful. And in graphics, what do we have in graphics? Oh yeah, we have GIMP, of course. GIMP is nice. That is really a powerful system. A document viewer, an image viewer, LibreOffice Draw again, and Shotwell Photo. That's the default photo viewer if you look at photos. Let's just look at a photo to see our Shotwell. Let's go to pictures, and let's look at this one here. I think this is a Shotwell photo viewer. Okay, oops, now I made it big instead of getting out of it. Let's get out of this one too. Okay, back to square one here. Where are we? I'm still trying to find a way to make this cursor a little bigger. I haven't found that yet. Okay, and then here's an important one, the Ubuntu Software Center. Ubuntu Software Center, why Ubuntu? Because both Zorin and also Linux Mint are based on Zorin. On Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the base for these systems, and therefore the Ubuntu Software Center works in both of them. So if you're looking for something here, a program, for example, I don't know, what are we going to look at? For example, you're looking for chess, a chess game. Okay, here you get all kinds of chess games proposed to play chess. Or you're looking for a screen recorder, let's say. Screen recorder. And it proposes some screen recorders. Or you're looking for a specific program, for example, Chasm. That happens to be also a screencaster. So you can look for specific programs there. Of course, you have to know the name. So the Software Center is very useful in order to look at things and to download. And if you have something, or let's go back to the Chasm, just to show you. You double click on it, and it shows you, it gives you a little text what it is, and you can install it from right here. And if it is installed, then you can uninstall it from right here, which is extremely convenient. There's a lot of programs, I haven't really counted them. At one point in time I saw something like 90,000 or 95,000. There's a lot of programs. Most of those you probably wouldn't want to use, but that's a different matter. Okay, places again, those are the oops, what did we do here? Places. Oh yeah. The file system, the home folder, computer again, network, trash documents, all of that. Well, wouldn't really need that again. I could eliminate that also, but I guess have to have something in here. So that explains this. Now, that just was supposed to give you a little overview of what you can do with Zorin. And I think I always have one virtual partition open with one of the Linux systems, because I like to do my internet work via Linux, because it's a lot safer, especially if you do like banking, online banking, and so you're much safer on Linux than you can ever be in Windows, even with a good AV program. So I would recommend to install it in VMware Player, and it takes very little to install. In fact, I have, let me get a browser up here, I have a more extensive tutorial that I made about a year ago. For that, you have to go to the 7 forums. 7forums.com. It's with an S, 7forums.com. Okay, and hit enter. And then I happen to be logged in, but then in the search field here on the top right, you enter Zorin. And hit enter. And you will see my old tutorial, how to install and set up Zorin in VMware Player. And it gives you a step-by-step instruction on how to do that. And then I have a video on how to install and set up Zorin in detail. Because one thing you have to install are the tools. And the tools will keep you busy for a little while. But it's doable if you follow my instructions. It's just a little tedious. Well, that's about all I can say about Zorin and running in virtual. I hope you give it a try. Would appreciate. It's a nice system. And now let me stop my recorder here, my Zorin recorder. Let me see. Okay, stop.